entering. Hi, Barry. Hi, Gail. Hi, Fazad. Everyone, I'm just going to give hi, Lara. All right, awesome. Well, as everybody's joining in, good morning and welcome. I see some familiar faces. Okay. I see some familiar faces. I see some people who are new. So welcome everybody. For those who don't know, my name is Mina Hilmazi. I'm the Administrative and Event Coordinator at the Innovation Cluster. You can call me Mina. I'll be facilitating today's workshop at the Innovation Cluster. We support founders and innovators across industries like clean tech, healthcare, medtech, digital tech, agri-tech, and nuclear tech. Our mission is to help entrepreneurs scale their ideas with mentorship programs and connections they need to succeed, founders just like you guys. And sessions like today are part of that support. I'm very thrilled to welcome Andrew Edwards, who is our speaker. Andrew is a strategist and co-founder of Design Ace, where he helps ambitious founders and small teams grow through clarity, creativity, and connection. With over 15 years of experience across tech, fundraising, and media, he teaches human-centered methods and moves ideas into action. In addition, he is a Futures Innovation Partner at OCAD UCO and serves on the board at Mobile Giving Foundation Canada. Today, he'll be guiding us through how to build a LinkedIn brand people actually want to follow with a focus on empathy-driven strategy and creative storytelling. Before I hand over to Andrew, just a few quick notes. If you can, please turn on your camera. Thank you for everybody who has turned on the camera. It's always lovely to see your faces. I'll be monitoring the chat throughout. So feel free to drop in questions as you go. At the end, I'll launch a quick CSAT survey. So your feedback really helps us improve. So please make sure you fill that in. And the recordings and the slides will be sent to you in case you miss anything via email after the workshop. That being said, Andrew, over to you.
Thank you so much, and I really appreciate everyone joining. I always love to know who you're trying to build your business with. So if you want in the chat, it would be fabulous if you want to describe your ideal customer in 4 words. For me, I love working with ambitious small business leaders. So that's just a little icebreaker that that we'd love to hear from you as I just tell you a little bit about, okay, solopreneurs looking to work with D2C founders. Thank you. Love to see these roll in. Um, as I was so kindly introduced, I'm Andrew. My friends call me Ace, and I'm the co-founder of Design Ace. I love helping small businesses shine on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a platform that is fabulous and incredibly powerful. It's helped me find jobs. It's helped me find customers. It's helped me find friends and partners. So today we're going to be talking about how small businesses and ambitious people can use LinkedIn in a way that feels authentic, helps you really own your niche, and doesn't feel icky or feel like, you're cringing, because I know that that is a feeling that a lot of people describe when they talk about having to tell their story on LinkedIn. Okay, let's see. We're getting some great answers in the chat. People looking for adventure. Love that. Fashion, retail, e-commerce, rural community developers. Thank you. People who are going to show up and bring their efforts. Barry, I feel that. People looking for adventure in remote areas. Oh, that's even better. That's really fantastic. Thank you everyone for participating. SMBs managing information. Does acronyms sound count as 1 word? I don't know. I thought that through too when I was coming up with my 4 words. As you know, we go through this. We're going to talk about just a quick introduction to LinkedIn. We're going to talk to you about how to understand your audience, how to make your company stand out. We're going to offer up an opportunity to do some content, some profile audits. So if you do want to have your profile audited, be ready with in the comments a link to your profile, so that we can show off. I also have some saved that are examples. If nobody wants to show their profile, then no worries. But we're also going to talk about what we should and shouldn't post on LinkedIn, and we'll open this up for some Q&A at the end. I have a lot of fun. I can talk forever and love the sound of my own voice, to be honest. It's one of the reasons I make a great founder. But this is more fun if we're interactive. So that's why I encourage everyone to please use your words through the chat, raise your hand if you have questions, or, pop off with an emoji reaction if you're liking or not liking what I'm saying. Then, please be as interactive as you feel comfortable with. These are just some of the ways that you can interact with Zoom. And we're going to start off with an emoji reaction. And I'm going to ask everyone to pick an emoji that describes your comfort and familiarity with usage on LinkedIn. So how do you feel about using LinkedIn using the emoji reaction? So again, you can use that emoji reaction. It's right there at the bottom. It has a cute little reaction face. And let's see how people feel about LinkedIn. People feel good about it. People feel bad about it. How are we doing? All right. LinkedIn is a platform. Okay, I'm seeing some hearts, which I love. This is fantastic. Yeah. LinkedIn is a platform LinkedIn is a platform that I'm seeing some heart, love, smiles. LinkedIn is a platform that when I talk to people elicits all sorts of feelings. Some people love it and are obsessed with it. It's their favorite social media platform. Some people, like I said, feel very cringy about it and feel very awkward about talking about themselves or self-promoting themselves. So I always like to understand, what people's comfort is. And then also just so that we know, just a little poll. So in the chat, if you can just drop in, which of the following describes your LinkedIn status best? One, I don't have LinkedIn yet. Two, I have a LinkedIn personal page. Three, I have both a personal page and a LinkedIn company page. So if you could, in the chat, let me know what your situation is with LinkedIn. One again is I don't have LinkedIn yet. You can drop it in the chat. Two is LinkedIn personal page I have, and three is I have both. Three, okay, I'm seeing lots of people with twos and threes. This is fabulous. Okay, I love this. Three-ish. Love to know what that's about, Jessica. I feel like maybe we have it, but we've never posted from it. Appreciate this. Okay, love this. What if you only have for business? I didn't know you could do that, Barry, but learn something new every day. All right, so this is fantastic. So I'm seeing that we have some great familiarity, which allows me to know that we can go deep and really talk about the ins and outs of LinkedIn in a way that is elevated and that makes sense for an audience that knows a little bit about LinkedIn. So I always love to level set that LinkedIn is a platform for professional networking. It's where you can share knowledge and find business opportunities. And what does that mean for professionals who are ambitious, and why is LinkedIn the go-to place for you to grow your brand? So first of all, just by sheer scope, there's over 1 billion members on LinkedIn, which is incredible. They just surpassed 1 billion, and there's over 67 million companies represented. So just from the sheer scope of the size of your audience, and something I would like to point out is these members are folks that have jobs, that are in the process of finding jobs. These are folks that have built a professional career for themselves. So not only are people professionally engaged on LinkedIn, but a lot of the time they have budgets. They are decision makers. They can connect you with decision makers. And because of that, it is the #1 B2B lead generation channel out there. Far better than Facebook, far better than Instagram, way better than X. If you are trying to sell business to business, there is no better market. I've seen a lot of different stats about this, but 40% of B2B marketers say it is the most effective platform, and LinkedIn drives 80% of all B2B lead sourced from social media. So these slides are going to get shared, and there are some sources at the bottom. I don't make this up, but I'm somebody who represents and pushes LinkedIn as the go-to platform. I'm definitely happy to have these stats in my back pocket. And company pages, which we're going to talk about today, are incredible because they help you get over 30% more views than just having a personal page. So for those of you who just answered #2, you might want to consider after today getting a company page that'll help you really round out your brand's online persona. So LinkedIn, people often ask, how is LinkedIn different than Instagram? How is it different than Facebook? Can I just take what I'm doing on other platforms and replicate it on LinkedIn? And the answer is no. And I'm going to explain why very simply. So if you post on Facebook today, your post is going to be shown in a feed with most recency. That means that if a friend of mine signs on to Facebook, they're going to see that post because I posted today. LinkedIn is a platform where folks don't sign in necessarily every day, which means that when you do sign in, whether it's once a week, once a month, or once a year, the LinkedIn algorithm is going to promote what is considered quality content in your feed. That means from the last time you signed on to the time you're signing on now, the algorithm is going to look at what your interests are, what your network is, what are things happening around your network that it deems exciting and interesting, and it is going to promote that content. So what does that look like? Because folks are like, okay, well, what does that mean? If quality content is rises to the top and not recency of content, how is that considered? So first of all, LinkedIn is going to filter out spam, which means that if you're just posting every day using ChatGPT to create a bunch of crap, sorry, then unfortunately your content is not going to do very well. It's going to be considered spam. It's going to be looked at as, overly using AI. So that's going to really hurt your chances. The second is the type of engagement it's getting. Are people liking it? Are people commenting on it? How does your network judge your content? Which means that when you do post something, it's going to show your post to a couple people in your network and it's going to see, do people like this? Do people find it interesting? Are people liking it, loving it, finding it insightful? And then when you sign on, we all have topics that we're interested in. Is this relevant to my topic? Which is really important. For me, I talk about LinkedIn, I talk about small businesses. If I were to all of a sudden start talking about, American economics, this would not be a topic that's relevant to what I'm typically posting about. So LinkedIn might not really know what to do with that. So we really want to make sure that we're not spamming people, that we're creating content that folks love, that it's relevant to my niche and what I like to talk about. And ultimately, it's going to find if whether that lands well with member activity. So LinkedIn is a fabulous platform, but it's also a bit of a challenging platform for this reason, because you could post all day on Instagram and chances are somebody will see your posts and somebody will like your posts. But if you're posting all day on LinkedIn, it's not a guarantee. There's no guarantees on LinkedIn. And I like to use this as a level set at the beginning of our time together today for the reason of how do we solve for this? What does this mean if I do want to post? And it is about, spending time empathizing and analyzing your audience and their needs so that you can help build a profile and publish content that resonates. Sounds easy, right? Like, what do we do? What does that mean? So people talk about telling your story authentically. We talk about, using empathy to understand your customer's need. Something that's discussed a lot is finding your niche. We hear this all the time, niche down, niche down, niche down. Okay, well, how do we do that? Like, and what does that actually mean in practical terms? So when we talk about empathy, we talk about understanding and putting ourselves in the perspective of our customers. So for me, when I use empathy, I think about putting myself in the position of other small businesses. I think about the time constraints that they have. I think about the fact that, they're usually small and nimble teams, that they have, very precious and sometimes very few resources, that they are ambitious and they're working around the clock. I start to think about the emotional state of the small businesses that I'm trying to connect with. And that way, when I'm creating content, I can create content that resonates with the challenges that they face. I can create compelling and relevant messages tailored to those issues that they're facing. I can speak authentically from my own perspective about, when I'm stressed out, about the things that I've gone through in my day that I know other people will go through, about demonstrating my expertise in a way that shares not just a product story and a service story and like sitting there screaming, buy from me, please, please buy my services. You should buy my services. That gets boring. It's trite. It also is a bit cringy. So when we reframe those asks and we put them in the perspective of, you know, we can help you unlock your time on LinkedIn. We know that you have limited resources. We know that you're frustrated with people reaching out to you, telling you that you can get 1,000 B2B leads really easily like that, like it's magic. We understand the pain points of customer. It allows us to then not only put ourselves in their feet, but also create content and a profile that really speaks to them. So a way to do this, and a really fun activity that everyone here can do, if you have a pad of paper, or you can just do this on a Word document. It's called empathy mapping. So I often get really confused about, we hear these terms empathy. I'm like, okay, well, how do we demonstrate empathy? So this is a great activity that you can do on your own. It's very simple, and it goes like this. You're going to think about who your customer is. Think about that most niche down customer. So don't just, for me, I'm not just going to think people who are struggling on LinkedIn. I'm going to think about, I want to work with Canadian small businesses who have, limited capacity, who are trying to grow their business. Really think about who that customer is and get an image of them. And then in a 4x4, you're going to, in the top left-hand corner, what are they saying? Go on social media and find their rants, find out what they're saying, find out what they're putting out in their blogs, find common topics about what they're talking about. And then to the right of that, you're going to say, what are they thinking about? Okay. What's in their mind? They're saying this, but then what's really behind those words? What are their thoughts as they're posting? You know, and then in the bottom, you're going to put, what are they doing? So what are their activities? What are their tools? What does their day look like? You're really trying to map out a full holistic picture of who your customer is. And then most importantly, what are their feelings in the bottom right-hand corner? Okay, are they stressed? Are they feeling frustrated? Are they excited? We all have many emotions, but then think about, as they're going through what they're saying and what they're thinking and what they're doing, what are their feelings? And as you're creating this little spectrum, it could look like, my customer sees their products advertised in store. The users told them their products were too expensive. Their customer is worried about long wait times. The users look online to compare prices, is what they're doing, and they stop using complex products. They're feeling anxious about their choices. They're feeling proud about their purchases. And what this will allow you to do is, you are unlocking some great content for yourself to post about. So think about this really expansively, and then start to pull together, okay, I know that they're feeling anxious. That's a great hook. Are you feeling anxious about your business today? Are you feeling anxious about the fact that your customers think that your product is too complex, and that they're thinking about how long the wait time is to get your complex product? And you can sort of then flow backwards through this chart and create some really compelling posts that are based around not just you trying to sell a product, but you showing that you understand their emotional perspective, and you showing that you not only understand their emotional perspective, but you understand the steps it takes for them to connect with their customer. So an empathy map is fabulous. I really encourage you to spend, 15 minutes, spend an hour, and before you go and just post a bunch on LinkedIn, really think about if you understand the emotional connection that your customer has with their product, with their service, and with their hopes and dreams, so that when you are creating content, you're doing so in a way that will really resonate within your niche, and that will really resonate with them from an empathetic point of view. Um, so we often get asked, moving along, what is a LinkedIn company page? So, we all have profiles. A LinkedIn company page is a specific and dedicated profile. It's a central place where your business can build visibility, credibility, and meaningful relations on LinkedIn. So this is a separate page from your personal page, and it is really just around what your business is for. And before we get into some of the reasons why I think it's great to have a company page, I like to say that your personal page allows you to talk about your values, who you are, your story as a founder, your story as an ambitious leader. You get to talk about, your day-to-day experiences, and then your company page can come in and it can do the hard selling. Your company page can do the work that might feel icky to do from your personal page. Your company page can put out the promotions or highlight your services in a way that you might not feel comfortable doing from your personal page. So when you work with these two in tandem, you can have sort of the soft sell and the hard sell happening at the same time. So that's, my quick pitch on why it's important to have a company page. But really, your company page allows you to, showcase your expertise, share your thought leadership, and really build your network beyond your immediate connections. People search out companies to solve and to hire services, to buy products. So, it really does create a higher searchability for you. So, think about your personal page and your company page working in tandem. So it's a great way to reach new customers by demonstrating your skills. It's a great way to, become a prominent figure. You can have a conversation with your company page, which might feel a little bit forced. But what I like to say is, necessary. If you're putting out a promotion, you can then talk about why that promotion is great. And on the other end of it, when you're posting something personal, you can then get your company page to drop in the comments, hey, book a meeting with us if this resonates with you and you want to talk with one of our agents. Um, so, beyond you can build relationships, but what I would say is also one of the best features is it has incredible reporting. So your company page also lets you view how your company page is doing in comparison to your top 10 competitors. And you can set these competitors as many times as you want in a month. You can see how your company is doing in comparison to competitors. It will show you posts and content that your competitors are, doing that is resonating. So if you're like, oh, I don't know what to post about, you can go and you can get inspired by what some of your competitors are posting about. And it allows you to rank. It's really important for you to have an honest perspective on how you're doing. So, from a personal page perspective, reporting is a little bit restricted and doesn't have the depth that a lot of folks need and want. So, from a reporting perspective, the company page really allows you to see how your company is doing, see how your competitors are doing, and then rank yourself accordingly. So, that's my quick sales pitch. If you're curious about, setting up a company page, that's something that we love to help folks do. So please get in touch, and I'm happy to walk you through why and how to get that company page going. Some things that are really important as you are setting up that company page is making sure that you have logos and banners. So a lot of folks just leave their company page blank. Don't do that. The LinkedIn algorithm also ranks completeness. And this also goes for your personal profile as well. So, these tips are both relevant to folks that have a personal page, but also are very relevant to you if you have a company page. So, folks, what do we like to put as a banner? I have, recommend, putting up your vision, putting up a quick catchphrase, something that is clean. Don't try to have your whole sales pitch in there. That's not what the banner is for. If you don't want to have anything, then something bright. LinkedIn's branding is blue, so just a little bit of color theory is if you pick a bright color that stands out against blue, then your company will always shine bright against LinkedIn. If blue is essential to your company's branding, then that's fine too. But just find a bright secondary color that'll help make your banner and your brand pop on LinkedIn. So making sure that you have logos, banners, and complete branding on your personal and company page. The second is your about us and your description. So something that we often see is really short descriptions. And, I get it. Talking about ourselves can feel inauthentic, can feel exhausting. You know, Unfortunately, this is your opportunity to make a good first impression. So depending on the type of profile you have, you'll have between 2,000 and 3,500 characters to describe what your company is, who you are as a person, and use it. Don't leave any of those characters unused. And don't just shove a bunch of keywords in the bottom because that's not going to help you either. You want to create a description that both uses search engine optimization, meaning that you have the right keywords present to boost your searchability. So you want to make sure that your description is both searchable by the algorithm, but then readable and delightful for a person. And what I mean by that is some people just jam a bunch of keywords in so that your profile will search up will be easily searchable by an algorithm, which is great. You might rank high, by the algorithm, but then ultimately LinkedIn is a platform for people. I really have to stress that. It is a platform for professionals, it is a platform for people. So even if you are, doing well on the algorithm, ultimately your profile is going to be read by somebody. So you want to make sure your about me and your description section are both searchable and then are delightful. So something that I like to encourage you is in that first, sentence or two, use your elevator pitch. Hi, my name's Andrew. I love to help small businesses shine on LinkedIn. I've been doing this, I have over 15 years. Talk about yourself in a way that if somebody only reads that first line of the description, that they're enticed, that they want to read more. Include social proofs, how somebody can work with you, what are your services or products that you offer. Don't go in and give the full depth of every product and service and customer you've worked with, because that is overwhelming, but make sure you're highlighting who you are, a little bit about your company history, a little bit about what you can do and the problems you solve for your customers. And then I like to, for your personal page, end with something personal, because ultimately people need a way to get in touch with you that is authentic. So for me, I write that I love to hike, I have two cats, and that I live in Toronto and love to go skiing in the winter. And this is just a way people reach out to me and they say, "Hey, I have two cats," or "Hey, I love skiing, I love to hike." It just creates an easy icebreaker for people. And then you know that they've actually read your personal profile. For your company page, what I encourage you to end on is how they can get in touch with you. If you need to refresh your LinkedIn, get in touch with me by emailing at andrew@designace.ca. Just have a clear way for them to understand the way to get in touch with you and the way to connect with you so that after your sales pitch, after you show that you understand their pain points, you then leave them a very clear way to get in touch. So really, really important. I can't stress this enough. Make sure that you use all of those characters and you tell your story in a way that is authentic, and don't overly use ChatGPT because people can spot it from a mile away. Use it a little bit, sprinkle it in a little bit, but then ultimately you got to go in there, you got to rewrite it, you got to make sure that it sounds like you. Um, Identify specialties. So, you have the ability to create better visibility by adding specialties. This is where you can jam in all your keywords. So, after you describe who you are and what you can do with people, make sure that you are grabbing at least 20 specialties that you and your business are great with. This is a good way for the algorithm to know who you are and what you can do with people. So, after you make sure that you have a complete banner and branding, you have a great description, make sure that you also have those specialties which act as keywords, again, increasing your searchability. And this is something that we see folks really struggle with. Um, Customize your URL. So um, up here, you can see edit your URL. When you go to your profile, a lot of people's profiles will be like Andrew Edwards 45218922224B. That isn't fun. It's not something that you can drop in the chat and be like, hang out. It's one of the most common things you can do, but you can edit that public URL to create something that is customized and special to you. So for your personal profile, maybe my name's Andrew Edwards. Like, trust me, there's 101 Andrew Edwards in this world. So I use my middle initials to be Andrew Charles Edwards so that people can find me. I encourage you to do that as well. Use a middle initial, use the city that you're in, find a way to create a customized URL, so that you have good branding, you have good searchability, and also when you're sharing that profile, it's easy to remember and there aren't a bunch of random letters and numbers at the end of your profile. So it's an easy thing that you can do today to make sure that your LinkedIn looks the best. And lastly, show your face, okay? Honestly, this is something that people don't love to do. This is an Instagram, so you don't need 14 beauty filters to show your face and feel like you're fabulous on LinkedIn. But showing a nice picture, just like I am right now, of me working in my space at home, smiling, being happy, me and my business partner out in the world. You don't need to create, um, high branding moments where you and your product or you and your team are sitting around, you and your customer are deep at a whiteboard. Those are great and those are amazing moments, but just showing your face and adding it to a post really, really helps. When I show my face, my posts get 20% the traction of than just when I do a text only post. So I really, really encourage. Small businesses are about building trust, are about promoting the most essential asset that you have, which is your people. If your customers wanted to work with a faceless corporation, there are many, many, many of those out there. But even at the top of those faceless corporations, there's a spokesperson who's showing their face. So you are your spokesperson on LinkedIn. So when you are posting, LinkedIn likes it if you post a minimum 3 times a week. I know that that can seem like a lot. 90% of people never post once on LinkedIn. So even if you post once a month, you are in the top 10% of users on LinkedIn. So if you think about the billion users that are on LinkedIn, 900 million of them have never posted even a single time. So think about posting, and when you do post, show that face because it really, really will help you find your customers, and it'll help resonate and it'll help build trust with the people that you are trying to sell to. So now I've talked enough, and I would love to get some volunteers, and we can look at some LinkedIn profiles. So if anyone is brave enough, you can put okay, look at that. I love this. Thank you, Jordan. Um,
Andrew, I'm sorry. Once you're done with before or after, there are a couple of questions in the chat. So whenever you want to answer them, like before or after the audit, yeah, like I can read them out to you.
yeah, absolutely. Well, will people put their profiles in the chat? Why don't you shout out a couple questions to me, and I'm happy to answer them.
Amazing. All right. So I'm going to read out Gail's question. What if you have a large network personally and a small network in the company side? How do you integrate? And do people have liked it? So they have similar interests.
Absolutely. So your profile allows you to invite people to your company page. So every month you get 250 invitations that you can send out to your audience. So if you have a good personal audience, that is a great way to, this is a great way to start to integrate your personal audience to your company page by being very selective about those 250 invitations. Every time somebody accepts an invitation, it refreshes. So if you send out 250 invitations in a month and 100 people accept, those 100 invitations come back to you. So if you're paying attention and you're working hard, you can really grow your company page quite quickly. It's how I've grown my company page to almost 2,000 people, is by using those personal, by sending out those invitations.
Jessica has asked, would you have a company banner on your personal page?
Yes. Make sure that you have a banner. Make sure that you have a banner wherever you are. Whether you are, it's your personal page or your professional page, you want to make sure you have a company banner because LinkedIn ranks you based off of profile completeness. So even if it's just having a color, even if it's just having a color that you are sharing, then this is a good example. We'll talk about this. So just making sure you have a banner means that LinkedIn will just check off and say this profile is 40%, 50%, 80% complete, which allows you to really, rise to the top.
We have Raymond with the last question. For the company page, would you include personal details if you're a solopreneur just starting out?
Yeah, so I started a company page just as I was starting out as well. And then I really grew with it. So I think that a company page works whether you have, 100 followers or whether you have 100,000 followers. The sooner you start it, the sooner you can start growing it.
Amazing. And we have a final question from Jan. I hope I pronounced that right. Can you discuss the pros and cons of all the LinkedIn paid options? I'd love to become a premium somewhere, but it feels like there are 2 million different plans.
Yeah, for sure. I personally am a LinkedIn Premium, just because I use it a lot. So if you are using LinkedIn, every day, a couple times a week, then it just increases the amount of searchability that you have. So if you are using LinkedIn, then I do encourage you to use the premium. Things like ads, I've had mixed results, and folks have had mixed results with. LinkedIn is one of the most expensive platforms to promote as far as ad spend, and I definitely encourage you to really think through an ad strategy before you pour. I have customers that have spent tens of thousands of dollars on ads and not necessarily gotten the leads that they want from it. Okay, so if we'll answer more questions. I will I'm gonna go through, and this is all meant with love and support and good fun. So thank you, Jordan, for first of all being brave enough to have me audit your profile. Okay, you see, I at first didn't understand these photos, but now that I've seen Just Say No to Stock Photos, I love this. And I think that this really makes sense with your business. So first off, love this banner. Um, so with this, this is something that everyone does. For your headline here, I encourage you to rework this into an actual statement. So like I love branding, family event photos are my passion. This is why I'm an award-winning real life storyteller who loves to train and consult. Maybe you might have to drop one of these, but instead of just jamming in a bunch of keywords, which you're not alone, lots of people do this, try to turn this into a sentence because ultimately, like I was saying about the description, this is going to work well at catching the eyes of somebody, of the algorithm, but then doesn't necessarily tickle me from the perspective of reading it as a person. I like this. You have a good amount here. I'm gonna say that this M dash, this is a ChatGPT giveaway. So if you are using ChatGPT, we all do it. There's no judgment. AI is the future. And also my business partner who loves to write was using the M dash long before ChatGPT. So whether it is actually written by ChatGPT or not, this M dash has now become synonymous with it. So it can hurt your algorithm ranking. So just changing that to a comma, semicolon, or whatever Grammarly tells you is a grammatically correct way to write this. You also have a little bit of space left in here. So I love the way you're telling the story. I would add a little bit more in here just because I do think you have a bit more room. Kudos on having your top skills here. I love that we have featured content. This is fantastic. I see that you're posting last week. I like that. Here, look at me. I'm going to give that a like as well. I think that this is really, really fabulous. Now, with this post, I would just include a headshot and do this post again and see if what I'm telling you is true. Use this exact same post with a headshot and do an A/B test to see if it actually comes through. And then one of the reasons I say have a company page is because you can see here in your experience, like as you don't have a company page set up, right now there's like no branding next to you as a photographer. So like for me, when you click on my profile, you can just see in my experience, it just looks a little bit cleaner and looks a little bit nicer. So great job on this, top marks for being so quick in the chat. And really great job, Jordan. Also, your photography looks amazing. I'm gonna move on to the next one. Thank you. Snaps for Jordan. Okay, loving this banner. This is really good. This seems to make sense for your business because I'm feeling like there's something that's outdoorsy about it. Um, and that is just a hunch. Yes. So typically, I tell people to, pick something where they're a little bit more centered. But considering what you are selling and the vibe you are giving, I would say that this definitely makes sense for you, Jean-Stéphane. Um, and let's go down. It looks like you could add your description of yourself. So there's no description. So that's one thing that I would focus on is writing a good description that really tells the story because this does leave me and also to fill this out a little bit more. Like I'm very intrigued by what I'm seeing. I'm seeing this tent. I like this like visual of there being like dot dot dot. It's giving me maps, it's giving me adventure, it's giving me outdoor wilderness. Thunderstorm watch. We all don't want to get caught in a tornado. I just saw Twister, the original, and really made me think that doesn't look fun. So I'm getting a vibe here, but it would be helpful if you just tell the story completely because something that resonates with me as somebody who focuses on branding is people don't know and don't leave them guessing. So, like, I'm very intrigued by this, but I would like a couple more breadcrumbs to tell me exactly what you are doing out on this mountain or in this tent so that I have like the very complete story. And then expand on that story in a description so that I have it. Love this. Let's take a look at your company page. Um, we continuously monitor severe weather and other safety risks in your area, sending alert directly to your InReach. Okay, that's very cool. And then again, I would just go and I would use the full amount of space here. But kudos to you for having a company page. And I'll just show you in my company page, just so that folks can see how you do it. When you go to your company page, you can go down here and you can click invite to follow and see I haven't sent out my December invitations, but I can click this CEO who is a connection of mine and I can invite them to follow. So go into your company page and let's invite some people to follow and be participants in your weather alert and activation system, which looks very cool. Okay, who do we else do we have here? Um, Barry. Okay, well, first thing I'm gonna say is Barry, let's add a banner here. But loving this power stance. This is a great, this is a great headshot. So very kudos to you. Um, same comment. I love a lot of these committed to improving the socioeconomic situations in our First Nation communities. I would pull this up and have this be your first line. Like this to me is the most powerful. And then if you want, you can add these keywords after that because I understand, there's a lot that is going on here. But to me, you're kind of bearing the lead here. And this to me is like a powerful and inspiring statement. Um, Love this as a supply team. It's very good. My mission is to assist Aboriginal people in starting their own businesses and transform. I would pull this up. I would have this be your very first line. To me, again, this is inspiring to me and is giving like, okay, that's very cool. I want to learn more about this mission. And then of course, I'm not going to sound like a broken record, but you know what I'm going to say here. There's a little bit more of your story that I'm excited for you to tell here. Love that you have featured posts. Love that you're active, love that you're reposting and engaging with people. And then really nice job here. Something that Barry's done really well is you can have featured content within your experience. So this is a great place to put case studies, examples of work, and to show off a little bit more. When we are scrolling, visual elements allow you to then like click and look at documents in a way that just shows off your work. There's the old saying, it's a picture's worth 1,000 words. So what do we put here? We can put press releases, we can put examples of work, we can put presentations, we can put videos. So, don't overthink it in a way that it's like, for me, when I worked at my last company, I was on a team that was part of a project that they put out a press release on. So I used that press release and then I told my story. I wasn't 100% responsible for the entire press release. I wasn't the CEO of the company, but I was part of the team that worked on that project. So it doesn't need to be something that it's like, this is my exact work. It's meant to add a visual element that you can then expand and tell your story on and add a couple more keywords as you go. So Barry, really good job here. I'm going to keep coming along and look at Frontenac Municipal Services. Love this. Um, this is really powerful. I like this. This is great. A good description. I really love this. Banner is a great example. When you are doing a banner, making sure that that any words you put on it are either center justified or right justified, because you do have a little block here. So if you have things that are too far to the left, they will get cut off. So great job here. I'm going to give you a follow. And then let's see, again, we can expand our description in here a little bit more, especially for a company page. Like I would add 5 bullets. These are 5 things we're working on right now. These are 5 projects. These are 5 of our values. These are 5 of our goals for 2030. Um, and yeah, so I think that you can definitely you can build that out a little bit. And then also I would just do 1 post a month. Think about, what's something we accomplished this month, what's one service that's interesting to you, what's one impact that we've had on the community. I'm sure they're there. So getting them out, and also something that is, if you're not ready to post from your company page, getting the post out from a founder or from any team member, and then resharing it from your company page. So you at least are bringing in some evidence-based social proofs from outside from your network. But great job, I love that banner. Any advice on someone who is looking for employment but also starting a business at the same time? Yes, I hear this a lot. Folks sometimes say, what do I do if I'm both starting a business and looking for work? This is a hustle society. Canada is an expensive place to live. You are going to start a business and you're going to work. I have 3 different jobs. I do LinkedIn, I work at OCAD, and I also am a board member. I find a way to weave all 3 together in a way that is authentic, and it was realistic. So ultimately, I think that you're going to want to find a job that allows you to continue to build your passion, and is not going to put you in a corner where you have to pretend like you don't have a side hustle. So I think just being authentic and being honest about the work you're looking for and the job you're starting, and the company you're starting at the same time is great. Okay, we're gonna do two more of these, and then if we don't have time, I'm gonna drop in I'll drop in the chat where you can anyone can set up a free 15-minute audit where we can chat one-on-one, and I will happily look at your profile and tell you exactly what I think about it. Love this color palette. Um, Bring your perfect outfit every time. Okay, that sounds like a lot of fun. Is AI powered fashion assistant. That is actually sounds so interesting. So really good. I would encourage you to just expand on this a little bit. And then let's show people. So this is great that you've talked about this. Okay, so here we have a nice featured outfit. This is really great. Okay, so I like these posts. What I would say, let's take a look at a couple of these is I would add an emotional hook for up here. So with these posts, these are great. I think that like we can drop one or two of these emojis. That is sometimes a sign of using a little bit too much AI. Um, I like these check marks. This is also something that AI does is it inserts little spaces. There's a little space here, which is naked to the eye for most people. But it inserts tiny little spaces as a way of being able to identify AI. So be careful when you are using AI that there isn't a little space jammed in somewhere. And then I would add something in here, professional everyday tips. Like, are you stressed about what you're gonna wear? Do you wake up not knowing? Like, are you worried about, like, are you stressed about having to make decisions every morning? I sure am. Like I spend endless hours, picking out outfits and laying out what I'm gonna wear, or Steve Jobs was iconically known for having one outfit that he wore every day, and like the power of branding from the perspective of a high, powerful of an iconic CEO. So think about an emotional hook, use that empathy map we talked about earlier, and really think about what stresses do people have that your uh, AI stylist is solving, and start with that so that when people see it, they're pulled in and they wanna read a little bit more. But very cool company. Um, okay, we talked about paid options. Okay, I'm gonna do one more. And G architecture. Love this. Very clean. Great icon here. Um, See, this is very good. I like that we've filled this out. Full service architecture. Honestly, no notes on that. Love that we're posting down here. This looks really nice. Over 40 employees. Let's take a look. Um, these are really cool using drawings and we're proud is always great. I see that you're posting on a regular basis. This is fantastic. What I would encourage you is like this is what I love. Like these are exactly finding people within your organization and empowering them to post is fantastic. You can see that this is doing really well. Um, but like I think for a place like an architect firm, highlighting the people behind you that make your firm, who are your chief architects, tell their story, tell what they mean to your organization, and bring out the people within the organization. We work with a tech company, and we do change maker posts every month where we will highlight a salesperson, we'll highlight a C-suite member, we'll highlight somebody from their product team, and we just tell the story about who that person is and what they mean to the organization. And it's a really great way of bringing the people forward, which is really powerful for not only building credibility with your architect firm, like highlighting these are the powerhouses behind our organization, but then also for people that are then potentially looking for a job at your organization, they can see what the vibe is and who's working there. But really good job. Love this. And let's do one more. And I'm sorry if I didn't get to do everyone's. And we will please email me and I will set up time directly with you and we will go through them together. Okay, so I'm gonna clock you on this. Let's tell a little bit more of a story. Who are you? What are you proud of? What are you inspired by? What's your dream or aspiration? Love that we have this this background. Nice headshot. I think that this is very clean. I do encourage people to pick a headshot where they're smiling, but I do think that this is a great picture. Love this pink blazer. Splash of color is fabulous. Um, I think that this is really great. We definitely have a little bit more. Um, I think that, what I encourage for things like this is make sure that, like, if these standards make sense to people, me being a novice and a layman, I might not know what you're talking about, but make sure that you are, using accessible language and describing your services in a way that a recruiter who might not know jargon, it still resonates with them. So this may or may not be true for your industry. I'm not sure. But when you are using jargon, make sure that you're sort of doing a twofold, explaining it for the smart person that understands your business, and then also describing it for, the less inclined person who might be their EA, might be one of the recruiters, might be two steps removed from the organization. Love these posts. These are great. Love the people. My These are awesome. Like, these are awesome posts. I would go in and I would actually describe your experience with, what is, it's not about cutting and pasting your resume. What is one thing you accomplished in this role? What are four responsibilities that you're proud of having? And again, if you do have examples of work that you can attach, and then down here you've done it, but then making sure that you tag your skills in here as well. So I'm sorry if I didn't get to audit your profile. I do want to make sure that we just have a couple minutes left. We're going to do some quick do's and don'ts for posting, and then we do have a couple quick words at the end from our team. So we've already talked about, okay, so what's out is don't get overly political. Like, that's great for Facebook. Unless it's your job. If you're working in the political sphere, then, talk about it in a way that, takes the emotional element out of it. This isn't a place to rant and rave. This is a place to promote your professional perspective. So avoid discussions that are controversial topics like politics or religion, which can be divisive and harm your political reputation, your professional reputation. And then tailor that content if it is a case. For example, I work at a food bank. Sometimes I get real riled up about food insecurity. But I bring that back to my experience of volunteering at a food bank and asking people to donate. So make sure that there's a clear call to action. Don't be sharing things that are inappropriate, like I was out in the club, or ranting about the worst date you've ever had. Personal stories are incredibly helpful if they help shape your professional experience. So, don't talk about what you were doing at the gym. Professional stories that help your network learn about who you are, the values that you have, the struggles you've experienced in the context of your professional brand. So think about, would I share this at a job interview? Would I share this at a water cooler? Would I tell my boss this? If this post ended up on the front page of something, would I be embarrassed about it? There's a platform for everything. So if you want to share that gym selfie, do it on Instagram. If you want to share that rant, do it on Facebook. Um, and honestly, this isn't a place to complain about negative experiences. We've all not gotten on the flight we wanted. Air Canada has, Air Transat, Delta, they've all annoyed us. This isn't the place to try to get the attention of a customer experience person. And one day you might be trying to sell them and you don't want to go back and be like, oh no, I've been trashing your company online. So reframe, experiences. If you do want to talk about the breakdown of a system within an organization that is relevant, if you're a systems thinker and you're talking about, hey, I see that this system hasn't been well thought out, then you can spin that in a way that's relevant to your professional. But don't just get in there, don't just rant. It's not going to help you get the job or get the customer. So think about sharing something personal from the perspective of, why did you start your company? What is your vision for your company? Share it from your personal page, then reshare it to your company page, and make sure that you're sharing your picture with it as well. So I do have an offer. We do LinkedIn makeovers. We have a special promotion running until the end of October. I know LinkedIn can be incredibly complex for you to figure out yourself. If you don't want to do it, we come in and we will help you create banners. We will help you tell your story. It is a three-step process where we interview you, we take all your assets, we write it by hand, we're not using AI, and then we come back, you have review, and then we'll actually do all the updates for you as well. So if you are a busy professional, if you are trying to grow that brand and you're thinking about an accessible way for you to, step up your LinkedIn presence, then I love helping people with their LinkedIn. I love helping you tell your story authentically. I hope you can tell from this webinar that I'm a fun, energetic person and would really enjoy getting the opportunity to work with you. If this is out of your budget, still feel free to reach out to me. I have a passion for giving you direct and honest feedback, so I'm still happy to give you 15 minutes of my time to tell you what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong on LinkedIn, with the hopes that one day down the line, I will have the pleasure of working with you and your business. I know that starting your own business is incredibly challenging, so kudos to all of you. Are there any questions that I didn't miss? I know, sorry, we're up against the clock and I want to hand it back over to Innovation Cluster so that they can promote their next webinar. But I think we have time for one or two questions if we can squeeze them in.
Absolutely. And we do have a question in the chat. Actually, yeah, we have two. One is there a tool that you could use to detect or replace the little AI telltale signs? And then if you want to take the other one with it, I can read the other one to you as
Yeah,
well.
so I use Grammarly. Grammarly has a little bit of AI, like it's an AI tool that's really, really powerfully meant to write as a human. So if you do find that it has too much AI, like I would use Grammarly, or just go into Google Word and do like a find and replace with that M dash and just put commas. Usually it's in place of a comma. So that would be my answer. And then what's the next one?
Is do you think it's important to feature posts from the founder's personal profile on the company page, or is it better to keep all content independent without cross sharing between the personal profile and company page? This is
You
by Lara.
definitely want that in interconnection. So if you're posting from your founding page, bring it over, repost it from your company page. It's a great way to make sure that you have your face, that you have the brand, and also vice versa. When you're posting from your company page, make sure that you're sharing it with your personal, so that you are so that you're widening your audience.
And I also launched the CSAT guys for those of you who are still in. It's just a quick question. We do have a question from Near Boss. Is having a large number of LinkedIn contacts good or bad? For example, if someone sends a request, should we accept it or be very selective? And is there actually any limit to the number of connections?
The limit does exist, but I think it's in the millions, so I don't think you need to worry about hitting it. I am somewhat selective about who I connect with. I do like connecting with folks. If they are overly salesy, then sometimes I skip it. Or if it seems like the profile is a fake one because they're like reaching out to you from like a place you've never heard of and the profile is completely blank and they've sent you like a salesy message, I skip those. But for most people, I do like to connect with them and just send them a message and be like, hey, what are you interested in connecting? And if they don't respond and they're not doing anything for your profile, then once in a while it's nice to go in and call and get rid of some folks that just might be you might think are worthy of being in your network.
Amazing. I think that's about it in case I missed anybody. Feel free to unmute and ask. All right. Awesome. Thank you, Andrew, for sharing that slide. I'm just going to do a quick, guys, we do have our events coming up. I'm also going to share, thank you, Zara, for sharing. I'm also going to be sharing some details in the chat if you want to sign up. If you thought this was great, all of our events are about hands-on learning. So we have a really cool bootcamp coming up about digital marketing. It's about storytelling for tech that doesn't sound technical. You can scan the QR, or you can also sign up using the link there. I will be sending you a discount promo in the email that I sent you guys for 20% off because you joined our workshop. So please feel free to check it out and be sure to sign up. And we also have, Andrew, could you I'm sorry, could you move on to the next slide? Sorry about that. And in the interest of time, and we do have a mastering series coming up. I shared the link for that as well. It's a sales marketing. It's basically a sales mastering series. It's a 5-week mastering series where Greg and Brandy, they're amazing. They're going to use Attraction Canva to walk you through your business plan and basically get your sales from 0 to 100 million. So I would highly encourage joining that as well. Dandra, the audit was really, really fun, guys. Thank you for all the engaging questions. Thank you for asking them in the chat. Thank you for dropping in your profiles. Thank you for joining in today. If anything caught your interest in terms of when you're looking at the website, please feel free to contact us at Innovation Cluster. Andrew has also kindly dropped in his details if you want to contact him. We always love to support founders any way we can, help them scale or expand their network. That being said, you will be getting all the slides shortly in about a couple of hours along with the video. And yeah, thank you so much. And I hope everybody has a lovely day. or evening, wherever you are.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.